I'm going to show you how to ring up a regular sale without attaching a customer to that sale. When you come in to enter sales, you'll automatically be at the ticket header. You'll notice the sales date and time, the ticket number, and the cashier. The cashier is who's ringing out that sale. So if you're the cashier, you're going to select your cashier ID. Since we're not going to be adding a customer to this sale, we can leave the customer field blank. That's if that customer absolutely does not want to be on your customer list. This way you can still ring out the sale and just not attach a customer to that sale just by leaving this field blank. The next field is the promo code field. Here you can attach a reason as to why this customer came in your store. You can create your own promo codes, but these are some examples: TV ad, newspaper ad, radio ad, or you can just select none. The next field is discount %. This is if you're giving a discount on the entire ticket. Maybe they're purchasing 5 different items and you're going to give them 20% off the entire ticket. That's where you could type in 20 in this field, and it would automatically take 20% off of each item. That way you wouldn't have to type it in each time you scanned it. The next field is sale type. The default is store sale, and this is where you're most likely going to keep it. But the other options are web sale, telephone, and wholesale, just by clicking on that drop-down arrow. And to the right of the screen, you'll see print receipt and print gift receipt. If you do not want any receipt to print, you can simply remove that check mark by clicking on that checkbox, and that'll take the green check mark out. If you want a receipt, just leave it there. If you're wanting a gift receipt, it'll print out a receipt with no prices. It'll list the style numbers and then a code to the right without listing the prices. Then you can click on print gift receipt, and that'll print out a second receipt with the SKUs but no price to the right. This way, when the customer comes back and they want to place a return with you, they can still have the receipt and you'll be able to know what price that item was purchased at just by the code. When you're ready to scan the first item, if you have a scanner that has the auto save feature built into it, you can scan the item right from this screen and that'll bring you to the ticket detail. If you don't, you can click on ticket detail up at the top or press F6 on your keyboard. Since we're just going over regular sales, the transaction type will be on regular sale. That is the default. So you can scan your first item. And that'll bring up the UPC number, the quantity, the SKU, the size, the width, if there is one, and the price. You'll notice below the column and row there's the SKU comment text box. If you wanted to type in a comment on the SKU, you could do so. In this example, I put, "This is final, item is on clearance, no returns or refunds," or you can just leave it blank. To the right, you'll see discount %. If you're giving a discount just on the SKU, this is where you can type in the discount. Say you're given 10% off, you can just type in 10, and that'll just take 10% off of just this item. If you're giving a discount amount off of this item, you could type in an amount. Say you're giving $4 off of this item because there's a nick on the shoe. You could type in 4 and enter, and that'll take $4 off of this item. You could add a perk for an employee. If you're trying to sell this shoe and then you're giving each employee $3 for every time they sell this SKU, you could type in a perk of $3. Since we're not adding a customer to this sale, we can skip over purchased for account. The next field is salesperson. So this tells you who actually sold this item. So back on the ticket header we did cashier, that's who is ringing up the sale. The salesperson is who actually sold the item. So you can click on the drop down arrow and choose the correct salesperson. When you're ready to scan the next item, if you have the autosave feature built in that scanner, you can just scan the next item right now. If not, you can click on Add Item or press F10 on your keyboard. And that'll add that item that was up at the top down to the bottom list. And now we're ready to scan our next item. And again, all the information will come up on the screen. If you were selling two of the same exact item, this is where you could go to the quantity field and just change the quantity. There's also the state tax or the sales tax fields to the right. If this item is not to be taxed, you can just simply remove the check marks for the tax area, and that item won't be taxed. For some reason you made a mistake, you can just simply click on the Clear Item button, and that'll clear that item. If the customer decided that they did not want one of these items listed below, you could simply click on that item and click on Clear Item, and that'll take that item off. You'll also notice down in the bottom right, you'll see the total items on the ticket, subtotal, tax, shipping, and total due. If you have more items to scan, just simply scan the next item. And again, it'll bring all the information up on the screen. And if you have the autosave, you can either scan the next item or just click on the Add Item button or F10 on your keyboard. And that'll add that to the list down below. For some reason, you don't have a barcode on that item and you can't scan anything, you can look it up by SKU number. If you click on the magnifying glass icon on the SKU field, that'll bring your SKU lookup. You can look things up by SKU, description, color, or supplier name. So if I type in the SKU number and click on the lookup button, I can just select it, double click on it, and it brings it up on the screen. Now I can go ahead and click on my drop down arrow to the right of column, select my size, and if it has a width, click on the drop down arrow to the right of row, select a width, quantity comes up, and the price comes up. And I can click on Add Item or scan my next item. Once I'm ready to end the sale and go to the ticket payment, I can click on the Ticket Payment tab up at the top or press F7 on my keyboard. This brings me to the ticket payment screen. On this screen, you still have the option if you wanted to add a promo code if you didn't. You can also do a ticket comment. If you wanted to type in a ticket comment on this ticket, you could do so in the text box here. Down here it will list all your different tenders. In this example I have cash, MasterCard, Visa, debit card, Discover, American Express, check, and gift card. As you'll see, it still lists everything that you've purchased down below for your review, has all the totals down at the bottom right. You have your subtotal at the top, your taxes, and your total due. If the customer gave you a check for this amount, you could either click on check or you could click on the drop down arrow and choose check. You could also do multiple tenders. Say they gave you some check, some cash, some credit card. You could simply highlight the amount, put in that amount, go down to the next tender, choose that tender, go to the amount, type in the amount they gave you, and then if there was a third tender involved, you could click on that tender. And now you're ready to end the sale. If you made a mistake, you can simply click on these red X's to the right and just remove it. I'm going to say they gave me cash and they gave me $350 and press enter. You'll notice it'll tell you the change down at the bottom right. This is the change that you give the customer if they give you cash. For some reason, the customer decided they needed to add another item. Maybe they wanted to buy a pair of socks. You could simply click on the Ticket Detail tab up at the top or press F6 on your keyboard, and that'll bring you back to the screen where you can scan or add something else. So you could just simply scan your next item. And then all you'd have to do is click on the ticket payment. You could still click on Add Item, but if you click on Ticket Payment, that will add that last item and bring you to the ticket payment screen. Then we can complete our sale. Say they gave us cash, do $4.50 and enter. That shows your change, and you are now ready to end the sale. So you can click on the End Sale button or press F9 on your keyboard. And that also shows you the Alert Center message. You'll see the change due, and you can click OK, so you can keep that on the screen as long as you need. I have a copy of what the receipt looks like on the screen. You have the logo if you wanted to do a logo, if you have the thermal receipt printer. You have your beginning receipt message with your name of the store and address, phone number if desired. You have the date of that ticket, the time of the ticket, and then here you have your store number, ticket number, to the right, and then in the middle you have your salesperson ID, which in this case is your cashier ID number. Here it tells you that this was a regular sale by this salesperson, so this is where it tells you who sold it, what the item was, the description, the size, the quantity, and the price. If there was a SKU comment on it, where it says this is final, item is on clearance, and then it will list all of the other items that you rang up as well. You'll have your subtotal at the bottom, your sales tax, any shipping charges, your total, and then your tender, what they gave you, whether it was cash or check. And if it was cash, it'll show you the change. It'll tell you your total items sold at the bottom, and then you'll have your ending receipt message at the bottom as well. And this completes how to enter a regular sale without adding a customer to the sale.